You're watching Echoes of Family. This story started with a joy that shocked everyone. Let's get back to that moment.
I stood in white, staring at two empty chairs. Hi, I'm Isabella Reed, 28, and this was my wedding. My parents called it trivial for someone at the bottom. They flew to Hawaii to toast my sister's engagement. I watched them laugh through a glowing phone screen. Tropical drinks, sunset. Not a single word for me. Nicole squeezed my hand while the band kept playing. Michael's vows steadied me, but humiliation burned. Years of being the unseen daughter crashed into me. Every holiday card celebrated Cheryl, never me. Tonight made their choice public, permanent, and cruel. Have you ever been abandoned on your important day? Share your story below. You're not alone. The worst part came days after the dance ended. I grew up in Toledo, where image outranked honesty. Our lawn glittered, even when my heart didn't. Holiday cards bragged, and I disappeared between lines. My parents worshipped outcomes, not effort or kindness. Cheryl fit their brochure of success perfectly. Debate trophies, internships, curated smiles for neighbors. They called her our future, like a family slogan. I loved sketchbooks, ink stains, and late bus rides. Be practical, Dad said, eyes already elsewhere. Mom straightened frames, not feelings, and rarely listened. At 10, I won a school art contest. I carried the certificate home like a miracle. That's nice, Mom said, already lifting Cheryl's medals. The wall celebrated her. The fridge ignored me. I learned to clap for myself in silence. At 14, my first little gallery opened. Corkboard, fluorescent lights, and trembling fingers. Parents crowded other kids. My space stayed quiet. I smiled until my jaw hurt from pretending. Afterward, I walked home with posters under rain. No one asked how it went. Through high school, the script never changed. Speakerphone dinners featured Cheryl's pre-law victories. I waited with updates no one wanted. When I finally spoke, Dad redirected the spotlight. That's great, but did you hear about Cheryl? My ribs memorized the shape of invisibility. College offered a door I built myself. Scholarship, side gigs, and buses after midnight. I designed logos between quizzes and laundromats. Emails home met silence or comparisons. How's Cheryl's firm? Mom asked, skipping my answer. Nicole noticed my wins. They noticed her schedule. Michael admired process. They admired outcomes. Alone, I stitched worth from tiny, overlooked moments. If you've felt unseen around your own table, I see you, and you're not broken. Sometimes love arrives from unexpected directions. I believed distance would save me, until white lace proved me wrong. College became work, not escape, and I liked that. Deadlines beat daydreams into shapeable lines. I learned software shortcuts between cafeteria coffee refills. Design briefs stacked, and I welcomed the wait. Michael noticed my drafts before my smile. He asked about hierarchy, not just color palettes. Show me your thinking, he'd say, leaning closer. I unspooled process, and he actually listened. Nicole barged in with camera straps and chaos. Stop hiding your best slides, she scolded, grinning. She dragged me to showcases I feared. I left with 3 freelance leads anyway. The internship paid in ramen and experience. I traced kerning at 2 a.m. I learned clients by clarity, not merely beauty. I learned managers by calm under pressure. I mailed updates home like prayer flags. Proud of a new campaign, I wrote. Dad replied, Cheryl's moot court crushed it. Mom asked, are you networking like Cheryl? Their applause belonged to a different stage, so I applauded myself in kitchens after midnight. I whispered, good job, over buzzing refrigerators. Nicole clapped loud enough for all 3. Michael poured tea and asked smarter questions. My first agency offer arrived on Friday. Toledo, mid-size, portfolio hungry, expectations high. I signed after 2 interviews and trembling relief. HR handed me a badge. I exhaled. Mondays smelled like fresh print and burnt toast. I built style guides and threaded campaigns. Client names grew bigger. Timelines stayed brutal. Pressure carved confidence, line by careful line. I stopped waiting for a ringing phone. Silence at home became data, not destiny. I measured progress in deliverables, not dinners. I learned to say no without apology. Then came the national retailer rebrand. 6 figures on the deck, stakes higher. I storyboarded storefronts, bags, and billboards. My thumbnails filled a wall like windows. Michael circled details with patient delight. Nicole filmed behind the scenes for my archive. We launched on a rain-bright morning. Hashtags multiplied. Sales numbers ticked upward. A local trade blog printed my name. I stared at the byline until dawn. I sent the link home, just once. Great, Dad texted. Cheryl met a partner. I closed the thread and opened Illustrator. Pain became fuel. Craft became shelter. With each brief, my voice grew steadier. With each checkpoint, my back straightened more. I built an inner room they couldn't enter. I furnished it with proof, not permission. Michael slid a small box across cheesecake. A river breeze lifted the patio lights. I said yes before I saw the ring. His eyes said, "I see you, clearly." We picked a date, a small riverside. We saved for linens and simple flowers. I designed invitations with inked lake ripples. I mailed 3 to my parents anyway. If you've built alone, I'm cheering with you. You're not behind, you're building foundations. But the day I wore white, their betrayal cut deepest. The river lights blinked like careful promises. String bulbs hummed above the patio, warm and steady. Nicole checked her camera and mouthed, "Breathe." Michael's parents waved, already saving us a dance. 2 chairs near the aisle sat untouched. White ribbons fluttered, waiting for names that never arrived. I pretended the wind had stolen their place cards. It hadn't. Silence did. The quartet lifted a familiar hymn. I stepped forward, dress whispering against the stones. Michael's eyes found me and didn't flinch. His jaw set, but his gaze stayed soft. My hands shook, his didn't. The officiant welcomed our small, stubborn gathering. Vows waited on stiff cream cardstock, ink still drying. I glanced left. Emptiness stared back without apology. Nicole shifted closer, framing my face, not the gap. We spoke the old words, made new. I promised presence, not performance, home, not theater. Michael promised patience, partnership, and 100 ordinary Tuesdays. Applause rose like shelter after a storm. The reception loosened shoulders and timelines. Diane handed me water and whispered, "Family shows up." George started a toast about kindness over pride. People laughed, then listened, then lifted their glasses. I let myself lean into the evening. We danced to a song from freshman year. Friends circled us, clapping the beat off time. The cake tasted like lemon and relief. Then my phone lit beside the bouquet. A notification stacked above missed calls. Mom's profile photo glittered with a gold filter. I shouldn't have looked. I looked anyway. Video. Sunset. Palm trees combing the sky. Cheryl in white that wasn't a wedding dress. Jeffrey in linen, grinning like a billboard. My parents in matching leis, drinks haloed by light. Caption: celebrating our star's engagement in paradise. No mention of me, no hint of Ohio. The band played something bright and shameless. My chest burned while my face learned stillness. Nicole stepped into my frame like a wall. "Breathe with me," she said, counting quietly. Michael reached us, eyes catching the screen, then me. He didn't curse. He didn't chase their shadow. He cupped my shoulder and said, "Here, now." I pocketed the phone like a cooling brand. We finished the night we had built. We stacked plates, folded linens, thanked every guest. I pressed my palm to the 2 empty chairs. No prayer came, only a clean decision forming. At home, I watched the video once. Sound off, eyes dry. Facts, not daggers. They hadn't forgotten. They had chosen. They broadcasted the choice and dared me to swallow. I didn't. I went to sleep beside loyalty. Morning brought coffee, emails, and the same clear sky. I designed thank you cards, then designed a boundary. Michael slid a pen across the table. His smile said, "Write it like you mean it. Have you stood where love should be and found vacancy? Tell me below. If you're there, you're not alone." And 3 days later, the phone rang, demanding I fund my sister's joy. 3 days later, the ringtone split the dishes. I dried my hands and answered anyway. "Isabella," Dad said, voice clipped and practiced. "About that old college loan we covered. We need your help for Cheryl's wedding." My grip tightened. The glass didn't break. "What loan?" I asked, staying even. "The 20,000 from your undergrad years. It's only fair you contribute now." "Fair?" The word sounded forged. "I'll call you back," I said and hung up. Michael slid my laptop across the table. I opened folders I hadn't touched lately. Statements, payment histories, confirmation emails. Every month paid, on time, by me. No consignor, no transfers, no parental deposits. I called the bank because facts matter. A rep pulled records, walked the years. "All clear," she said, loan satisfied. "No third-party payers on file." I dialed Dad with documents open. "My loans are paid," I said steady. "Paid by me, no balance, no you." He coughed, then tried another door. "Families help families, Isabella. Be reasonable. Cheryl's event is important for all of us." "All of us," I echoed. "Except the day I got married." He launched a speech about sacrifice. Behind him, Mom fed him lines. "Don't be dramatic," she said, faint and sharp. "This is what family does when needed." My voice stayed wintry. "Family shows up," I said. You didn't. You called my wedding trivial, remember? Silence stretched, then shrank into bargaining. We'll repay after the honeymoon, he offered. Consider it a gesture for Cheryl. I already gave at the office, I answered. I'm not funding my replacement's spotlight. Heat rose, the mask slipped. Don't be ungrateful, he snapped. We invested in you for years. Send receipts, I said. I'll wait. He didn't because none exist. I opened a document titled Boundary. I wrote like setting margins tight. Plain language, no metaphors, no exits. To Joseph, Ruth, and Cheryl, I began. Your actions clarified my place. You dismissed my wedding, celebrated hers publicly. You attempted to revise my finances. I do not consent to revision or debt. Do not contact me about money again. Do not contact me about trivial matters either. Future attempts will be ignored. I choose my peace and my home. I read it once aloud. Michael counted inhale, exhale like vows. I pressed send, then blocked their numbers. No apology came. The math simplified. I poured tea and opened Illustrator. Lemon light pooled across the tiles. My hands stopped shaking before the whistle. If you've lived this kind of manipulation, tell me below you're not alone. Your clarity might be someone's courage tonight. I thought that email ended it, until consequences started knocking back. The email went out and quiet followed. Not peace yet, just room for it. News traveled without my help. Mary stopped inviting them to gatherings. Aunts went silent on group threads. Neighbors asked about 2 empty chairs. Dad tried explaining misunderstandings at a cookout. No one bought the script anymore. Cheryl met friction she didn't expect. Jeffrey's parents asked about Hawaii versus my wedding. Fairness matters, his mother said, unblinking. Their engagement dimmed by its own spotlight. I didn't gloat. I planted quiet instead. Consequences were theirs, boundaries were mine. So I built, brick by careful brick. Morning tea, evening walks, unhurried dinners. Silence stopped feeling like punishment, felt chosen. I finally slept through comparison nights. Michael stayed my steady, ordinary miracle. Nicole kept arriving with loud tenderness. George and Diane welcomed me without tests. Mary asked nothing except truth and time. I learned a softer discipline. Receive without auditioning. Praise entered without suspicion. Love stayed. I framed our wedding photos above the desk. Not to forget, but to remember choosing. Work bloomed under a simpler sky. Clients arrived for integrity, not desperation. I said no without apologizing for air. Boundaries brightened the craft and the home. Then Emma arrived, small and blazing. Her cry uncoated the last shame. Holding her, something fundamental settled. Family became a verb, not inheritance. Sometimes grief visited with old photographs. I let it sit, then leave. Forgiveness didn't mean access. History stayed recorded. Closure looked like a locked door in a garden. If you've been through this, you're not alone. Tell me how you built after breaking. Your words might be someone's first steady breath. I'm Isabella Reed, wife, mother, artist, whole. I chose my life and it chose me back. And if they ever knock again, the garden stays locked. Before saying goodbye, if this story touched your heart, please give it a like. And share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Don't forget to subscribe for more true family betrayal stories. That reminds us we are stronger than we think.